Hey there, A's Day fans. Welcome to Monday's edition of A's Day, our newest episode. Again, we are available on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and so many other outlets. Listen to us on your favorite media outlet. We are back from Mesa, Arizona. Wishing we were waking up today to go experience another day of A's spring training practice or a game, or to take in the sights and sound of the wonderful, cultural, city limitless Mesa. But it's back to reality. We're back in home studio today in California. Today is Monday, February 24th, and we're going to be sharing with you the ins and outs of our spring training experience during our time in Mesa, watching and capturing content of the A's. And then on Friday's show, we're going to get into the wonders of Mesa, like some of the cool places we got to eat, some breweries we checked out, our hike, some of the other attractions like the Mesa Historical Museum, and so much more. That'll be for Friday's show. We will highlight that. And we'll be sure to continue to upload content on our social media platforms throughout the week, as well on our YouTube channel. We'll shout those out here in a second. So yeah, today we're going over everything A's spring training. Looking forward to sharing how that was. And if you are heading down to Mesa in the month of March to go check out an A's spring training game, this will be the place to tune into, going to give you the ins and outs of what you can see, where to see it, when, and how. Very excited to share the wonderful wonders of our trip to Mesa. Thanks to Visit Mesa, wouldn't have been possible without them. And earlier today, the A's did finish off a 1-1 tie in their third game of their Cactus League schedule. Typically, in spring training, you will see some tie ball games just to avoid guys from getting overworked, especially this early in spring training. Don't want anyone out blowing out any arms or any tires or anything like that before we even get started here. But hey, very excited. One day closer to opening day. We're very excited to be counting it down here as the A's are in full swing in spring training. And you can see, even purchased their cool official spring training hat. This is straight out of the team shop in Hohokam Stadium. Really cool place to watch a ball game. We'll get all into that on today's show. With that, let's jump right into all that baseball talk, talking A's. Looking forward to today's episode. Let's go. All right, thank you so much for tuning into today's show. We are back once again from Mesa, Arizona. Thank you so much for checking us out. We've definitely had a lot of increase in volume and attention and views to our content that we have been posting on social media and our YouTube channel as well. So while we may be welcoming in some new listeners, some new viewers, I want to let you know where you can find us. On Instagram, it's at A's Day Baseball Podcast. On X, formerly known as Twitter, it's at A's Day Baseball. And our YouTube channel at A's Day Podcast. And for those that want to be the diehards, the loyal listeners from day one or early on here, you can check us out on our patreon.com/A's Day to be an official subscriber. The more people that we have subscribed, the more that we can give you, the loving audience. So we would appreciate each and every one of you, getting to know each and every one of you. We are going to be able to host some exclusive giveaways, such as some autograph memorabilia, as well as some monthly A's Day t-shirt raffles that are scheduled to start next month or in April. Depending on the number of followers. We'll get into those details later on today's show. Thanks to some of the player interactions that we had and the memorabilia we were able to acquire that we will make available to our Patreon subscribers, as well as our followers on Instagram and X. There'll just be some different parameters and certain prizes available to each audience just to make it worth everyone's while. We want to welcome everyone into the A's Day community, and we're excited to grow together and see what the A's do as we head into a new era of A's baseball here for the 2025 season. So wanted to do a quick shout out to all of those. For those that have been listening since day one, we appreciate each and every one of you. But this previous week is really going to be the content that you've all been craving and waiting for. And it's really going to help us launch pad into doing so much more. We're going to be covering everything A's. So stay tuned. This is the start of something very special, very excited, especially with how this week went. And with that, let's jump in to our overall experience. So we flew in from California on Wednesday the 19th. It was a very smooth process flying out into the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, the world's I think America's most friendly airport. Customer service was great. Got through everything no problem. Received our luggage and got our rent-a-car and headed right over to A's practice. Wanted to be able to capture content and maybe have some player interactions right away. So they actually practice before the games start. And by the way, this is a great guide that I'm going to be providing in terms of today. It's going to be focused on the spring training aspect of your experience in Mesa, Arizona. If you're looking to watch the A's for this year, it'll be practices in the morning and then games in the early afternoon. If you're looking to go next year, practices do start in the middle of February, and I can tell you it's really good access in terms of getting up close and personal with your favorite A's. It's a good way to learn them. The staff was very friendly there. At the start of each day, they handed out a paper roster, so obviously there's familiar faces, but then there's some new guys, there's some young prospects around camp. It's a good way to learn all about the athletics. They were very welcoming. It's a very open community. So yeah, really tune in. I'm going to provide some good tips here today and some cool things we were able to see. So yeah, on that first day, it was really just for an opportunity for us to really get an idea of the lay of the land and how it's set up at the complex. It's also known as Fitch Park. There's 4 diamonds all in the circular structure, and they're doing the athletics players are doing different drills on each field. So one field they had batting practice, or I think the first day they had 2 fields of batting practice going. On the other field was live ABs, and on the 4th field they were doing defensive work, like ground balls for the infielders, turning double plays, outfield reps, reading fly balls off a ATEC machine to really track that height and really make sure they get their bearings of where they are on the field, tracking it down, how close you are to the fence as the ball keeps carrying, communication, all of that good stuff. Just like you see from Little League, high school, college, all the way up to the professionals. It all starts with the basics again in spring training. So it was really cool to see that. Just want to shout out Gio Urshela is really a wizard with the glove. So I knew, seeing him all those years with the Yankees. His actually started with his time in Cleveland. Always saw, how much of a wizard he was with the glove, but seeing it up close, it's like his hands are so smooth. The transition to throwing to the next base is just unbelievable. So really excited to see how he holds being an anchor at third base for this young core, this young team, the young defensive infield for the 2025 season. But the reps, the work was certainly put in there. Very impressive seeing up close. So yeah, on the first day, really saw a lot of live at bats. I remember one in particular. I think it was Hogan Harris versus Brent Rooker. That was a pretty cool matchup. But it was really cool, and we're uploading all of the ones we were able to record onto our YouTube channel at A's Day Podcast. There was, I think there's one or two up there right now, but there's going to be a bunch more here over the coming week. Just working on our editing, going to have all that uploaded at the latest by end of day Friday. So stay tuned for that. We'll have announcements on our Instagram pages. It was really cool seeing guys battling. I think TJ McFarland was going through some hitters. They were having some playful banter while he was up there. Saw Miguel Andujar mash a home run to left center, so that was pretty cool. I think Max Schumann hit a homer to dead left. So guys are really competing out there. And Lawrence Butler was hitting the ball hard all over the field. Brent Rooker, I don't know if you guys are following him on Instagram, he said the one day spring training's off to a hot start, and it was a picture of his bat actually shattering on contact. Got to see that up close, so that was pretty cool. Brent Rooker was looking good too as well with his plate discipline, driving the ball up the middle. These guys were really swinging it. Really looked like they were in a good place. Obviously, it's early, so you can see for some guys the timing in live at-bats was a little bit off, but that comes with the more daily repetition they'll get, and you'll see it in games. Guys are working on things. Some guys like to see the ball a little bit deeper this time of year so they can see the flight, the depth, all that good stuff before actually trying to get out in front and do some damage with it. So everyone has their different methods to success in terms of preparation and for the 2025 season. On that first day, it was cool. We had the opportunity to meet two A's. We got to see half of the practice. We got there a little bit after it started, just because that was a travel day. So the expectation, we were just trying to get as much content and as much player interaction as we could. That first day was kind of a bonus, and it really turned out to be a good one. We met Shea Langoliers, starting catcher for the A's, and Brent Rooker. That was awesome too. 2024 Silver Slugger, 2023 All-Star. Journeyman really finding his home here with the A's, just signed a 5-year extension in this past offseason. So I had an opportunity to ask both of them a question because that's what I wanted to do. They each signed an item for me too as well. We'll get into that a little bit, but we're going to have some of these items that we were able to receive from players as future giveaways for A's Day fans that of current and future. We're going to have future social media giveaways and Patreon giveaways too as well. So when those come about, we'll be sure to share that info with all of you. But we asked each of them a question, and the question of the day was, what was their favorite pregame meal? I'm just really curious how they feel up before one of their 162 games in the season. They both had a consensus same answer, basically. Langoliers loves their to have an acai bowl before games. Brent Rooker did too as well, but he also added in he likes to have some sort of protein like a chicken or steak too, to provide that strength and feeling fueled up before the game, before first pitch. So I appreciated each of their time. We posted pictures about with our interactions with both of them on our Instagram pages. Actually had the opportunity to meet Langoliers twice, but we'll get into that later on today's show. I think all in all, that first day, what I would recommend, and this is what it is all throughout our spring training experience for kids, adults, all baseball fans. If you're someone that wants to see your favorite players up close or seeing professional baseball players up close, if you're just an overall baseball fan, athletic spring training is amazing access. I think it was really cool. You were able to get very close, up to the fence to get a very good view of all the drills they were doing. All the players walked by you too as well. So typically, a lot of the players had more interactions after they were done practicing. But for some guys that had a little break, they were just walking from field to field, had a couple minutes in between. They would stop to sign an item, take a picture, or answer a question or anything like that. I highly recommend bringing any item you want to get signed: baseballs, cards, photos, your glove, your hat. they'll be happy to do it. I think the A's overall were a very friendly team, and that was noticeable from the jump. So I was very excited for the rest of our time down there. I think it was a really good start, being able to interact with Shea Langoliers and Brent Rooker on that first day. Appreciate both of you. If you're both listening, or if you listen anytime in the future, we would love to interview each of you on A's Day to provide some exciting insight into what it's like to be an athletic and to get to know each of you a little bit better. So that'd be cool. I know our fans would enjoy it. Yours truly would enjoy it, just as a baseball fan too as well, and respect what each of you do with your craft. So thank you for the time, Brent and Shea, for talking with A's Day, and hope to talk again with each of you sometime soon. All right, so let's roll along. The next day, Thursday, it's kind of a little bit of a blur because it kind of felt like one long fun day, just because of how much baseball we got to experience. But on that Thursday, it was kind of the same deal. Got to see them doing different drills on the field. Got some cool content of batting practice, more live ABs. Again, peep the YouTube channel. And then in terms of our player interactions, we were able to interact with 4 A's this time, which was cool. And we actually got 2 on-camera video where we asked Jacob Wilson, starting shortstop. So what I asked him was and because I knew his ties to Grand Canyon University, I asked him what it was like to be a Lope, because I know what it means from my full-time position. I actually work for GCU. So I know the students take to heart what it means to be a Lope. So I wanted to hear from his perspective, because he wasn't there that long ago. And you can peep that interaction on our YouTube channel and our Instagram page too as well. They are posted up there. He was so friendly. He spoke with us for about a minute and really went into detail about loving the Christian values that GCU believes in and the close community feel. And really felt he had a good opportunity to develop into a professional on and off the field. And, I really appreciated his time. And he was someone that I feel like if there wasn't other people waiting to speak and meet him as well, I feel like he would have answered some more questions. So thank you so much, Jacob. Again, if you're listening as well, we would love to have you on the podcast and sit down and just talk baseball. And would love to hear more about his overall off-season development, where he looked to gain some strength and increase his durability, because he did battle some injuries during the 2024 season. So as him being slated to be the everyday shortstop over one course of 162, want to make sure the body and mind is ready to go, and I think he's going to be in a really good place. So really excited to see him take that big leap here in 2025. As the A's number 1 prospect, but I think he's really going to show not just the American League, but I think the league, that a new shortstop is here and has arrived. So very excited for his 2025 for sure. We also got to interact with A's left fielder Miguel Andujar. We asked him what his favorite pregame meal was, and he said that it is fruit. So there must be something about these acai bowls they're to die for. I would love someday to try them, but it seems to give the A's the proper boost to be able to compete at the highest level. And then got the opportunity to also meet and speak with Brett Harris, third baseman. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Miguel, too, as well. I would love both of you on the podcast as well. All A's are welcome to come talk with yours truly. I think our fans would enjoy it. So I'm just going to thank and shout out each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of your time. Brett also answer a question with us. You'll be able to listen to that on our YouTube channel. It's up there, and on our Instagram page too as well. So appreciate him stopping and signing a baseball card of his too. So very cool to add that to collection. Maybe included in a future giveaway. We will see. So that pretty much concluded Thursday too as well. It's kind of more of the same as the first day. It's just really baseball heaven down here. I mean, the weather was perfect. Not big crowds either, so it's not like you're going to have to deal with throngs of people. That's typically how it is during morning spring training practices, especially earlier in the year. Once the spring training schedule starts, I'm sure you'll see more people attending A's practices and practices of all MLB teams in the Cactus League. But early on is really good time. Like, it's a lot more laid back. The players are very relaxed. They're just getting the reps in, getting ready for the season. Very fan-friendly. I can't hone that in enough. You really get up close and personal access. If you like taking pictures of baseball action too, there's, like I said, there's not going to be many people to have to deal with and interact with, which, it's always good to know, the fellow A's fans too as well. But, with anything, if there's, a significant crowd, it can, sometimes, skew the experience just a little bit. Maybe might not have as much access as some other events or whatnot. So, for those that want more of a laid-back experience, I would say heading there earlier in February and leading up to the spring games is a good time to catch your favorite players up close and personal. And then on Friday, we had a little bit different of experience, but it turned out to be a great one. So the A's were having practice inside of Hohokam Stadium, which is where they play their spring games. It was closed to the public for the day. And then they were having a team barbecue after, so I guess they wanted their privacy for the day. No problem. So we actually headed out and recorded Friday's show at the Visit Mesa production studios in downtown Mesa. Such an experience. It was amazing. I never had the opportunity to record like that in the studio before, so I would love, that was definitely motivation to, have this thing really take off and be able to have a studio of our own someday, always think of that long-term vision. So, but thank you so much, Visit Mesa, for letting us utilize your studio. It was really cool to be able to do that. And before we continue on with that, I am going to shout out Visit Mesa, because without them, none of what we're talking about would have been possible. So want to do a quick ad read, and then we'll get back to our spring training talk. Visit Mesa, City Limitless, a destination for every season. Mesa, Arizona is home to boundless opportunities for exploration. Surrounded by the breathtaking expanse of the Sonoran Desert and natural beauty of Tonto National Forest, Mesa is a gateway to a one-of-a-kind outdoor experience. This regional recreational playground boasts an assortment of things to do for visitors, with the welcoming communities of Apache Junction and Queen Creek nearby. Whether you're searching for unique cultural experiences, want a relaxing getaway, or are planning a family vacation, Mesa is the perfect place for your next adventure. Or if you're planning a spring training trip, Visit Mesa is the place to go. Log on to visitmesa.com, give them a call. Their contact number is on the website. They're located at 1 North McDonald in downtown Mesa. They'll put together the perfect itinerary for you to experience all of the spring training you would like with the athletics. Or if you're listening to this, you're just a baseball fan, you want to see the Cubs who are also in town, they have a great partnership with them too as well. They'll give you the lay of the land of what to experience, best places to eat, best breweries to have a nice cold drink on a warm day, or to watch some sports on television, some best places to check out the arts, point you to the right direction of the Mesa Historical Museum, some cool hikes, and all of the countless other attractions and wonders that City Limitless Mesa has to offer. So be sure to check out Visit Mesa, visitmesa.com, City Limitless. You'll certainly be glad you did, to have a adventure to immerse yourself in for your next vacation. So whether you're thinking of heading down there this March to check in some spring training, or if you're planning ahead for 2026, be sure to check out Visit Mesa, and be sure to check out our sites too as well, because we're going to display some of the wonders that we were able to experience during our time there, and I'm sure I'll be shouting them out at least all through spring training, but probably throughout the rest of the baseball season too as well. We just really appreciate all Visit Mesa did for us, and we loved our time in Mesa. So looking forward to getting more into all of the expanses of Mesa on our Friday show. Okay, back to our discussion of our spring training experience. So on that Friday, once we finished recording and grabbing some lunch, we actually headed back over to Hohokam Stadium. Thanks to the security guard there, he told us that the A's would kind of be hanging around and then leaving around 1:30. So it's really a good time for access, in terms of our goal was to get some more questions on camera, to be able to ask them one question. So, and good thing we went back. We were able to meet a few guys. So we met CJ Alexander, utility player. He was really friendly and answered the question of the one thing that he wanted to improve on for the 2025 season. And, thankfully he went into a nice discussion about his vision, his plan, and wanted to, drive the ball with more authority to the opposite field. I think, becoming too dependent on hitting to one side of the field, especially in this analytic era of baseball, you really become predictable, and pitchers could pitch you a specific way in terms of pitching to the defense. So you want to avoid being in that situation. I was glad to hear that, he was working on that one aspect of his game, but really appreciate his time. He signed a card for us too, and commented on one of our posts and liked it. So shout out to you, CJ. And, we were at the game on Sunday. He got a hit. So, really happy for, his spring getting off to a good start. Wishing him nothing but the best of success, and hopefully it's a successful time and experience for him in the Cactus League. Appreciate him stopping for us. We also got to speak to relief pitcher Grant Holman. He is someone that's going to be a candidate to get significant innings, I think, out of the bullpen. But wanted to, learn more about, his offseason experience too as well. And, the biggest takeaway is he wanted to get more consistent with his slider because obviously has a really good fastball, but you can't rely just on that, especially getting successful big league hitters out on a consistent basis. He, was really getting into, the depth being pretty good, but location not being where he wanted to be on a consistent basis. So one way that he worked on that was just playing around with different grips and getting comfortable with what works. And I think he's really going to bring that in to having a successful spring. So also was able to confirm that some point this year we are going to connect for a Zoom interview. So just waiting to connect with him. So if you're listening, Grant, looking forward to talking to you with you again sometime soon. Did send a direct message as requested, so it's from A's Day podcast. And it is from yours truly. So anytime you'd love to come on, we'd love to schedule some time where we can meet via Zoom. We could talk over the questions beforehand, just so we're prepared, and just make sure all's good with you. Best of luck this year in 2025. Thinking a lot of good things are going to come your way, and looking forward to you getting some big outs for the A's this season. Also had the opportunity to meet Kyle McCann, catcher. Appreciate him. He signed a baseball for us, and really appreciated his insight and what he was looking to improve from the offensive side of things, where he just flat out said he was struggling with sliders. Mashing fastballs for power, but pitchers were getting him out, I guess, at a pretty good clip on that slider. So how he worked on it this offseason was just seeing sliders on a daily basis, off a slider machine, mashing baseballs, seeing the depth, and just making sure he turns that weakness into a strength. So best of luck to him this season. I'm not sure where he'll be starting out this year, whether he'll win the backup job with the A's, or I think he was outrighted to AAA for the Aviators, so maybe starting there. But I do, think he still has a positive future. So really an open guy. Kyle, if you ever want to come on A's Day, would love to talk more baseball with you. I would love to learn, for instance, what your catching routine is. So if you want to come on, share that with our audience. Your host would love to learn more about that too as well. So appreciate all of that. And then also was able to meet infielder Alejo Lopez. So he took the time to answer what his offseason focus was, and he took it a different perspective, which I think was really cool, and I think is a good lesson for all baseball players out there. So his biggest takeaway was to take, more time away to give his body a rest and to give the mentals a rest. And sometimes, I know we want to get reps, but sometimes there is such a thing as too many reps, and you can burn out mentally and physically too. It could be very, tolling on the body. I think, he was telling us that he was someone that would always play all year round. Like he would play over the course of a full professional season. Then we'd go play in the Winter League. Then we'd go play in January, February. Then it's time for spring training again. I think this time he wanted to, increase his endurance. So by incorporating more rest, to ensure he is recovered for a full professional season as compared to experiencing some burnout. So I think that's really a good lesson to us that, as much baseball as we want to play, it's really important for us to take those breaks so we are able to succeed and play at the highest level possible. So really appreciate him stopping and sharing that with us. Alejo, if you want to come on A's Day, please, we'd love to chat baseball with you anytime too as well. So all those interactions were really unexpected because you really don't know what to expect, but appreciate everyone that stopped. It was really another cool day before we headed over to check out some attractions for the rest of that Friday. And then, Saturday was kind of just exploring Mesa, went on a hike. We'll get into more of that on Friday's show, and then participate the Downtown Mesa's baseball block party. Again, we'll talk about more of those details on Friday. And then Sunday was the spring game. We were, thankfully, again, for the support and partnership we have at Visit Mesa, they hooked us up with 2 tickets. We were sitting literally right behind home plate in section 100, row 6. It was such an amazing view. You can see everything. You can hear all the sights and sounds. You can see the real giddy up on some of those fastballs. But it was really cool. We were at Hohokam Stadium. We got there early when the gates opened, right around 11:30. We wanted to get some more interaction, some pictures, content, and some items signed for those future giveaways. And we met a lot of guys. I'm just going to rattle them off just because there were so many. If I forget anybody, I apologize, but appreciate each and every one of you. We met catcher Willie McIver, relief pitcher Jason Alexander. We met third baseman Gio Urshela. That was really cool. We met. Let's see. There was just some. We met pitcher J.P. Sears. We met some prospects too. We met Henry Bolt. We met Max Muncy. We met Darrell Hernandez. We met Shea Langoliers once again. That was cool. He's very fan friendly. He was signing and speaking with everyone there. We didn't meet him, but I saw Matt Crook was signing for some fans too. We met prospect Jack Perkins. We met pitcher Joey Estes Jr. He was friendly as could be. We met 18 players in total. That was really cool over the course of our time down in Mesa. So if you're someone that loves adding to an autograph collection, taking pictures with your favorite players, spring training is really the time to do it. They're more laid back. You have really good fan access. So before the game, how we were able to get these interactions and meet these guys, we were stationed right behind the tarp between sections 113 and 115. We got to that front row. Wasn't highly attended until towards like close to the first pitch, but even then, wasn't any more than 20 people in the row. And the players just came right over. If you called over to them, took pictures, signed things. We got some baseball cards signed. We got some baseballs. So again, we'll announce that at future giveaways. Once we reach a certain follower amount, we're going to start giving those away to the lovely audience because everyone wants to have a piece of the game and start or add to your personal collection. So would love to share that wonder with you. And then the game on Sunday, it started 1:05 first pitch. It was a really quick game. It was over, I think, within 2 hours or so, which was crazy. But in spring training, it seems like guys are trying to keep the line moving. A lot of guys are swinging at within the first 3 pitches. So obviously, when that's happening, games are going to move quicker. We got to see the A's win, so it was very exciting. They won 4-0 against the Colorado Rockies split squad. Brent Rooker had a sacrifice fly, drove it to deep center. And then Seth Brown cleared the bases with a thunderous 3-run double into the right center field gap. It was really good situational baseball. A's have seemed to be doing that nice early on in games, early in the spring. In the first game, when they actually traveled to Peoria to take on the Padres, they got the scoring started with Jacob Wilson hit a ground ball to second base to move the runner over from second to third. with less than 2 outs, and then Tyler Soderstrom drove him in with a line drive, base hit up the middle into center field. Situational baseball, that's going to win a lot of baseball games. So good to see they're doing that early on. We got to see that up close and personal, too, as well at Hohokam Stadium. Beautiful place to watch a game. There's not a bad seat in the house. There's plenty of different foods. We had a couple of hot dogs, and they were delicious. We like to keep it simple, just the good old-fashioned mustard, but they have Sonoran dogs, they have churro dogs, they have all different types. So if you're going to a game this year, there's going to be plenty of delicacies to choose from. The beer vendors are coming up and down the rows every inning. You can get some snacks. It's very accessible. It's not a huge ballpark, so it won't take you long to get to any concession stand. You won't miss any action. It was just a really fan-friendly and family-friendly environment. Everyone was pretty well behaved, and we're just pretty much in the game. Obviously, you're hearing some people that are still miffed about the A's move to Sacramento, then eventually to Vegas. They're saying, let's go Oakland and all that. Just hearing some of the sneers like that in this crowd just was a little precursor of probably what to expect, especially early on in their home games up in Sacramento. So something to keep an eye on as we head into 2025. But all in all, very family-friendly, fan-friendly, great place to watch a game. Jeffrey Springs was awesome. He was dealing. He had 2 scoreless innings. Had 2 Ks in the first. He was, very dominant. And Jacob Lopez was really good out of the bullpen. He hides the ball well and has a really funky delivery. I think he's going to be someone. They got him from the Marlins this offseason. So I think he's going to be a sneaky left-handed piece option in the bullpen. It's going to be a tough guy to hit again. So really impressive stuff. And they won 4-0. So I guess we're their good luck charm to, kick off 2025. That was the main takeaways in terms of our spring training experience. Just some other things. That was with the games takeaway so far. Lawrence Butler is really off to a good start. He's 4 for his first 6, I think, over his 2 games he's played in the Cactus League. Did homer in the first away game against the Padres. Like I mentioned, Springs had a really good start. Beto pitched really well today. There was no audio-visual feed today, but was following along via Twitter updates. X, formerly known as Twitter updates. And it's Beto had 2 scoreless innings and looked like he had electric stuff from the highlights. Glad Langoliers was okay. So at that game we were at on Sunday, he got hit in the helmet by a guy throwing 100, but thankfully I think it hit the brim of his helmet. He came out of the game just for precautionary measures, but then we got to meet him after the game when they were exiting. So he seemed fine, in good spirits, and best of luck to him in 2025. Hopefully he continues to stay healthy. I really am going out on a limb. I think he is going to be an all-star this year, so stay tuned if that prediction is right. So, in all, I do think this lineup is going to show great chemistry. They really seem to feed off one another in a positive way, and I do think it could be quite contagious. So, stay tuned for all of that. As their spring training season rolls along, we'll provide updates on what we're able to listen to in terms of games or watch, depending on what is available for streaming. And with that is all for today's show. We appreciate you tuning in to our newest edition. Wanted to give some insight into what our spring training experience was like. And really highly recommend, if you've been pondering going down to Arizona to check out some spring training baseball, you'll have a wonderful time, especially at Hohokam Stadium. They're going to have their open practices in the stadium now that the games have started. It was closed that one day to the public just because I think they were having a team event. But moving forward, it seems like there's going to be open practices available. Those are going to be in the morning. They've reported around between 9:30 and 10 a.m. each day. Be sure to, if you have an opportunity, go check them out. They'll come over and sign some stuff, or if you want to get some pictures or see some batting practice and drills, that'll be the time to do it. They'll have those practices daily before those spring games. And then for spring games, if you're looking to get up close and personal, get there when gates open and position yourself down that right field line between sections 113 and 115. It's great for the kids. they'll come over and then make memories that'll last a lifetime. And then while you're at Hohokam, just a reminder, check out the team shop. That's where we got this hat. They have a lot of cool game used memorabilia in there, but they had plenty of cool shirts, shirts, Cactus League shirts, pens, hoodies, all of that good stuff. It's definitely a good place to get a souvenir and just have a memory to go by. We got this hat. My fiance Sarah, she got a shirt. And we got a magnet. We like to collect a magnet for every place we like to visit. So just, when we look at our fridge, it's a memory of another pleasant vacation we were able to share. So with that, that's all for today's show. Just wanted to remind you that we will be back on Friday, and we were going to get into the hot spots, like some of the places we got to eat, the breweries we got to check out, some of the nightlife, some places like the Mesa Historical Museum, and other attractions we were able to see during our visit. We loved our time in Mesa. We can't wait to go back. Hopefully we're able to do this all again next year and provide even more content for you. So we'll get into all that on Friday. We're going to introduce the start of the athletics player projections and predictions starting this Saturday on March 5th. We'll talk about a little bit more details on when to expect those, who we'll be starting off with on Saturday. And that's what we'll be tuning into for our next show. So we talked about our spring training experience. Hope you enjoyed. Throughout the week, stay tuned. We are going to be posting all the content that we were able to capture during our time down in Mesa. So again, you can see all this on our social media sites at A's Day Baseball Podcast on Instagram. On X, formerly known as Twitter, it's at A's Day Baseball. And our YouTube channel, where you'll see our video edition of our podcast like this, as well as all the video content that we captured down in Mesa. You can find it on our YouTube channel at A's Day Podcast. And please, so we can keep doing this and keep growing and offer so much more covering everything A's, be an official subscriber on our Patreon website, patreon.com/A'sDay, where you can be entered to win monthly giveaways such as autographed memorabilia, some future ticket giveaways, and a monthly A's Day t-shirt drawing. Thank you for each and every one of you that have been with us from day one. And for all of our new listeners, we hope you come back. We hope you liked what you heard today. We're going to be keeping it interesting. We're going to be covering everything A's. There's going to be so much content to come. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. That's a wrap. I'm your host once again, Joe Grotto, and we'll be back again on Friday to keep on talking A's as we are getting closer and closer to opening day. Holy Toledo, that's another show. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.